Up-close view of that fake mustache as Steve is put in handcuffs.
How fast do you think this is going to get dropped? Do you really think the charge is going to stick? I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you, I can take this as far as you want.
YouTuber accused of shooting and killing a couple on the Strip last June while live streaming is looking for a judge to grant him bail before his case heads to trial.
Next up, City Manny. Las Vegas YouTuber Manuel Ruiz, known online as City Manny, is accused of shooting fellow YouTubers Rodney, 44 years old, and his wife Tanisha Finley, who is 43 years old, to death while they were live streaming on the Las Vegas Strip. On the night of June 8th, 2025, the Finleys were broadcasting live near the Bellagio fountains when Manuel allegedly approached them, pulled a handgun from his waistband, and fired multiple shots, with the attack partially captured on the live stream before the phone just fell to the ground. Investigators said that the killings were the accumulation of a bitter online feud between the creators that they had been escalated publicly since 2023 through the live streams, copyright disputes, and social media insult. Manuel turned himself into police the following morning and claimed he acted in self-defense, telling investigators he believed Rodney was reaching for a weapon. Police say there was no weapons found on either victim though, and prosecutors rejected the self-defense claim, arguing the evidence points to intentional double homicide. Manuel was charged with 2 counts of open murder with a firearm, held without bail, and prosecutors later announced they intended to seek the death penalty. The case became one of the most shocking examples of internet rivalry turning into real-life violence, with the victims unknowingly recording the final moments of their own lives for viewers watching live. Now we have Gunnar Runar, 87, an Icelandic YouTuber. He confessed to murdering 28-year-old Hannes Helgason. After initially convincing many people he was simply grieving a friend. In September 2008, Helgason was found fatally attacked inside of his home in Iceland. Police questioned Gunnar shortly after the killing, but released him due to lack of evidence. Well, during that time, he uploaded an emotional YouTube video including one declaring his love for his victim's girlfriend, leading many viewers to sympathize with him. And investigators continued examining the case. Inconsistencies in Gunnar's statements and new evidence brought him back under scrutiny. He eventually confessed to the murder, admitting he had fatally stabbed Helgason multiple times. Well, the case shocked Iceland because violent crime there is actually pretty rare. And many people have watched Gunnar's videos without realizing the man appearing on camera has already committed murder. His online persona transformed a seemingly heartbroken young man into the confession of a convicted killer, just hiding in plain sight. Now let's talk about Samantha Wohlford. Texas YouTuber Samantha Wohlford orchestrated the kidnapping and murder of her husband, Ernie Ibarra Jr. They tried to convince police that she was the victim of a violent home invasion. On February 20th, 2015, Samantha called out for help, claiming 3 masked men had broken into the couple's Mount Pleasant home. They tied her up, abducted Ibarra, and disappeared into the night. Well, hours later, Ibarra's body was found in a remote wooded area in Camp County with the fatal gunshot wound after being beaten and pistol whipped. Detectives quickly discovered Samantha's story. It was kind of falling apart. Phone records, text messages, and witness testimony revealed that she actually recruited Jonathan Sanford, Jose Ponzi, and Octavius Rhymes to carry out the attack. And one text allegedly instructed the men to kill Ernie's phone. Accomplices later testified that the group had actually discussed multiple ways to get rid of Ibarra before deciding to kill him. Sanford and Ponzi pleaded guilty, and they received 50 years in prison, while Rhymes was sentenced to 93 years in prison. In September 2017, a Texas jury found Samantha guilty of murder, and she was sentenced to 99 years in prison, to be served consecutively with a separate 50-year sentence for aggravated kidnapping. So once the 99 years is done, then the 50 years begin. What began as a staged kidnapping quickly unraveled into a carefully planned murder plot. Justin Mohn is next up on this list. A Pennsylvania YouTuber, Justin Mohn, murdered and decapitated his father before holding the victim's remains up in a YouTube video calling for violence against federal employees, a crime that ended with the conviction with life in prison without parole. On January 30th, 2024, prosecutors said that the 33-year-old fatally shot his own father, who is 68 years old, Michael Mohn. And this was inside their Levittown home before decapitating him with a kitchen knife and a machete. Is this real life right now? He then uploaded a 14-minute YouTube video displaying his own father's head while promoting anti-government conspiracy theories and urging attacks on federal officials.
My father. He is now in hell for eternity as a traitor to his country. It is said that those who commit treason and betray others occupy the lowest pits of hell for all time.
The video remains online for several hours before it was obviously removed, but not before thousands of people had actually viewed it. Investigators later arrested Justin at Fort Indiantown Gap, where he allegedly carried a USB drive containing photos of federal buildings, instructions for constructing explosive devices, and writing outlining violent plans. During his 2025 bench trial, Justin admitted killing his father, but claimed he was attempting to, so-called citizen's arrest for treason. A defense the judge rejected, as it completely was unsupported by any evidence. On July 11, 2025, Judge Stephen A. Core found Justin guilty, sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Prosecutors said that the case marked the first extremist crime conviction under Pennsylvania's terrorism statute, describing the killing as a calculated act designed to intimidate government officials rather than an isolated family tragedy.
70 miles per hour. That's how fast cops say a 17-year-old was driving when he mowed down two teen girls riding on an e-bike.
Vincent Battiloro built an online following as gamer YouTuber VinnyBat118. But prosecutors now allege he deliberately drove his SUV into two 17-year-old girls, killing them both in what they describe as a targeted attack. On September 29, 2005, Maria Natchez and Isabella Salas were riding on their e-bike in Crawford, New Jersey, when investigators said Vincent accelerated to roughly 70 miles an hour in a 25-mile zone. What is he thinking? And he struck them from behind with his Jeep, abandoned the vehicle, and then fled on foot. He was initially questioned and released before being arrested 2 days later on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The case drew even more attention after videos surfaced on Battiloro's YouTube channel, in which he discussed the crash, claimed there was more to the story, and denied public accusations against him.
It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting, but when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail.
In June of 2026, which was just recently, prosecutors successfully moved the case to an adult court, publicly identifying the, now 18-year-old defendant. Newly released court documents allege that Vincent fabricated a story that he had been, carjacked by a masked man, but investigators said that his own dash cam footage contradicted that claim, showing him driving to the area, making a U-turn after spotting the girls, and accelerating towards them before the fatal collision. The investigation also revealed police had previously responded to multiple calls involving Vincent before the killing, and the victims' families have alleged that Maria has been stalked before her death. He now faces trial as an adult on 2 counts of first-degree murder, while prosecutors continue to argue the evidence points against them to an intentional attack rather than this, what he's claiming to be a tragic accident. Diana Lovejoy. This is a California YouTuber, Diana Lovejoy, who plotted to have her estranged husband murdered during a bitter divorce. But the carefully planned sniper ambush failed, and the victim survived and identifies the conspiracy. Well, on the night of September 1st, 2016, Greg Mulvihill received a phone call from someone claiming to be a private investigator with evidence that can help him in this custody battle that he was in. Well, he was lured to a remote dirt road in Carlsbad, where prosecutors said Lovejoy's firearms instructor and lover, Weldon McDavid Jr., lay hidden in the bushes with a firearm. Weldon fired, striking Millville right in the chest, but Millville and a friend managed to escape and call 911. Detectives quickly unraveled the plot through burner phones, forensic evidence, and testimony showing Diana had orchestrated the attack while making false allegations during the couple's contentious custody dispute. In November 2017, a jury convicted Diana and Weldon of conspiracy to commit murder and premeditated attempted murder. Well, during the verdict, Diana collapsed in the courtroom before later insisting that she was innocent. They're all innocent, right? In January of 2018, she was sentenced to 26 years to life in prison, while Weldon received 50 years to life. Prosecutors said the attack wasn't a crime of passion. It was a calculated murder for hire plot that only failed because the intended victim survived.